But back now to that latest stabbing at Leytonstone. The 14-year-old boy, Paul Erhahan, left dead and his friend fighting for his life. Dr. William Lez Henry is a lecturer in sociology at Goldsmiths College, part of the University of London. He's here now. Dr. Lez, everyone has a theory about the rise in knife crime. What's yours?
I don't even necessarily think it's that I've got a theory, because these are things that we've been looking at and we've been trying to effect some kind of change in so-called black African Caribbean communities for years. What it is we've noticed that there is an increase in, for instance, a lot of young people arming themselves for protection. So, for instance, Thursday gone, we've been running some sessions during the Easter holiday where we kind of raise young people's awareness about, you know, the actual threat that they're under.
What are they protecting themselves from?
Well, exactly, because usually it's almost that, you know, the greatest fear is fear itself. So because of a lot of the media hype, a lot of the other hype that surrounds, you know, like this fashionable way of protecting yourself, supposedly, a lot of young people imagine the threat, and they imagine the threat to be greater than what it actually is. So, for instance, on Thursday we did a session, and the guy who ran the session, a guy called Brother Hakeem, asked, we had about 15 young people, he said to them, why do you carry knives if you carry knives? They said, for protection. Yeah. We said, how many of you have actually been attacked with regards to, you know, the gangs or the postcode or affiliating yourselves with the colours of dustbins, which is what happens in London a lot. Yeah. And out of those 15, one said he was attacked, and it turned out he was attacked in school.
We're told that carrying guns is a sort of status symbol. You know, you flash the little side piece and people respect you more. It's not like that with knives, though.
I think even that is a very dangerous thing to think about, because in the sessions we do with young people, we say, is somebody actually respecting you because they fear you? And how many of these young people actually walk around armed? And that's another kettle of fish as well, really, because one of the things about so-called gun crime is, yes, a lot of them do carry guns for fashion statements, but some of them do it to protect what they see as their business. And there's a difference. But again, the threat is magnified, and in some ways it becomes reduced to the so-called black youth. So most people perceive, when they see black youth in a hoodie or whatever, they think, oh, he must be armed, or he's carrying a knife or whatever. Because one of the things I point out to young people is being born in Britain a long time ago, being raised through the 60s, the greatest fear for me was being attacked by white teddy boys who used to walk with flick knives until they were outlawed. Razors, you see? So, but what happens is, I think that it is there, but every now and again a certain group gets turned into like these little folk demons. There's a little moral panic. It gets blown up out of all proportion. But the problem that we have nowadays is because there is so many different ways to get that information out. You know, we've got even like News 24 didn't exist probably 20 years ago or whatever. So we've got all these different ways of getting this threat out, and in some ways it's magnified out of all proportion. And you will find that a lot of young people are even thinking about the notion of arming themselves to stave off a threat that really isn't as vast as it's made out to be.
Just very briefly, Dr. Lez, are you making any progress with these young people?
Well, we do in our small, isolated ways, but we have major problems getting funding for the projects that we do. We have, for instance, I've been trying to get a research project off the ground, trying to get some money through, because I'm a visiting research fellow at Goldsmiths College. I've been trying to get money for 5 years to look at the links between school exclusions and gang affiliation. And until it becomes vogue, like it probably is now, it's almost impossible. So things that we could actually nip in the bud, it becomes difficult for us to do it because we don't always have the resources. The sessions that we do, you know, people either usually donate spaces or we use youth centres, the few that are still open, you know, during things like the Easter holiday, and put on these small sessions. But it's about getting that to a critical point where it's in public consciousness that people are actually doing something against this. And we also have to fight against the pathologization of the black male as well, because that is a major problem.
Well, that's another story. Lez, thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you.